All right, we were last at case closed, and so I mean it is sort of one of those series that has a MacGuffin. He turned into a kid. He doesn't know who did it. He doesn't know why they did it, but he's solving all these other crimes, and ultimately he hopes to one day solve the ultimate crime of who done it to him. So, and the fact that the author did say that he would be ending the series from. He announced it in 2007 that he would be ending it eventually later, and so I guess it's still coming to an end at over 30 volumes. So I mean you got a great sort of crime story which you really can't find a better example of anywhere. So let's see next, Crying Freeman. Well, it's Kazuo Koike, so he can do no wrong, and I've never read it, but it's the same guy that did Lady Snowblood and Lone Wolf and Cub, so go for it. Next is Cyborg 009, by Shotaro Ishinomori, the guy that invented Henshin and invented Super Sentai altogether, and Masked Rider and all of that. And it all started mostly with Cyborg 009 and Kamen Rider. And of course, I love Cyborg 009 because of its great action and its subtleties about the horrors of war and common stereotypes with other people in different nations. Next, Death Note. Of course, that would be on the list, and thank God they at least have one guy on here that's an anti-hero at least with Light Yagami, and of course there's great suspense in there, and nobody would not put it on their list. Let's see, Doraemon, once again, another manga series that is not really available in America to read, but I mean Doraemon is sort of like Sesame Street here. It's been on for God knows how many years and has entertained the hearts of God knows how many people. So go Doraemon for touching us all with your magical pouch that can allow you to pull out any sort of number of futuristic gadgets to help us today. Next, Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball and Saint Seiya and Knights of the Zodiac. Every single shonen story afterwards has had some sort of root in either of these two series. Whether it be your classic adventure, your adventure quest, your sequence where the hero trains and then gets better and then fights his rival who beat him before and then beats him again, that sort of scenario. All those things were established in Dragon Ball, as well as the whole powering up thing, the sensing other people's energies, and a lot of other trademark styles. The Drifting Classroom. Well, at least we got one really good horror story in here to sort of culminate that whole genre, and what better than Kazuo Umezu himself with his highly acclaimed series, The Drifting Classroom. Wonderful. Next, Fist of the North Star. Once again, a series that is not readily available in America, and if you do find it, you're probably paying too much for the volumes that there are, which is incomplete, so it's not even really fair. Now, that's in America. I don't know what's going on in Europe. Maybe they got a better deal on it. So, there you go. Also, I mean, it's great action and over-the-top violence for itself. Then, Fruits Basket, probably one of the most well-written newer shoujo series that has come out, and has a lot, and also emphasized less on love interest at first and more on family love. So it also had that going on, which was a lot different than a lot of other shoujo series, which it did very well. Full Metal Alchemist, very dark, an interesting setting, and also a greater emphasis on minor characters than a lot of other series like it. So that was very good. Fushigi Yugi, great story. It doesn't drag on like Inuyasha, which which I think is sort of like Fushigi Yugi. Also, there's lots of characters that you can relate to and love, and even the occasional twist of somebody dying abruptly, and really taking a lot of risks with the series. Galaxy Express 999, probably one of the single greatest science fiction stories available in Japan, and Leiji Matsumoto, the Japanese version of Gene Roddenberry, with all of the stuff that he has done with interlinking continuity and characters and whatnot, with Space Battleship Yamato and Captain Harlock and so on, with Galaxy Express 999 being not only a great science fiction story, but also having deep allegories to the price of humanity and the respect of being yourself and not trying to improve on what you were given to begin with. Let's see, Genshiken, a great retrospective on the otaku culture itself and all of the ins and outs of it, including like conventions and relations at school and whatnot. So, great story. Ghost in the Shell, Shinro Masamune, you have to put him somewhere for that. Another great story that helped inspire The Matrix, which everyone saw, regardless of whether or not you didn't like the sequels. And also spawned a couple of anime series as well. Breaking a lot of grounds with different cyberpunk, and even going into extreme detail and trying to explain how certain features could be possible in the future. Golgo 13, great short stories about serious, gritty characters. That is sort of the hit of the week sort of fashion. And unfortunately, it's a shame that there are over 200 or 300 volumes of Golgo 13, and all we really have in America is just the 13 volumes, which turns into 26 stories. So it is available, but it's just the tip of the iceberg, and that's a real shame. Next, Great Teacher Onizuka. I haven't read it, but I hear good things about it. Sort of like Stand and Deliver if Escalante was more of an asshole badass guy than just an aging Hispanic. Let's see, Iron Walk John. I have no idea what this series is about. It has to do with cooking and taking it to an extreme level of almost like a sports manga style. And I mean, I know cooking manga is sort of a big niche over in Japan, and I mean, if they say that it's good enough to be on some list, then I guess I should at least look at it. Let's see. Moving along, of course, JoJo's. We'll talk about that later, so stay tuned for part 3.